Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. Thanks for tuning in to this encore performance of Watch Me Work livestream number 3. Basically, it's a place where I'm working online and a bunch of us are hanging out, talking Joomla, talking life. So if you're into that, please keep watching. Here's what's in this current episode. I'm using Regular Labs ReReplacer and then dbReplacer and then Content Templater. That's the first time I've used that in a Watch Me Work livestream. Then we also talk about Snippets. Take a look at Snippets and use that. There's a little bit of talk about an important life lesson I've learned along the way. And talk about why I need 3 screens. We all need 3 screens. If you want to skip to any of those sections, check out the description below and find the time code. And it'll take you right there. If you want to watch the whole thing, then stick around because here it comes. Brought to you by... Anyway, so let's head on over to the screen here and we'll pick things up and I'll just start working this. So I just got back from the Chamber of Commerce meeting this morning at a new members orientation. I've been a member for about 1.5 years, but I go there and meet the other new members and hang out. And today I got tea, a fudgesicle, and a chocolate muffin. So that was pretty good. So here we are in the back end of my cybersalt.org site. And let me just, somehow I can pop chat out so I can be reading it here. I did that last week, but I forget how I did that. All right, I will just try to keep an eye on chat while we're working. So what I was looking at and have been working at in articles, I have a fellow that sends me a devotional or a commentary or a musing every week, James Snyder, and when I search for his articles, I will do it in the category that all of his are in, which happen to call God's Penman. And as I go here and I'm going to go into one of his articles, what I am looking for is the signature at the end, the code, so I can find and replace and also put it in somewhere using ReReplacer. So dbReplacer is used to find and replace things in the Joomla database, the database of your Joomla install. And ReReplacer looks on pages, on your Joomla pages, for a little tag, and when it sees that tag, we'll replace it with whatever you have inserted. And we'll see some examples that we have there. So here's the signature down here, Dr. James Snyder, these last 2 lines in bold. I'm going to view the code, and I'm going to go down and select the code right here. Now, as I look at this code, and I can't zoom in here, I do not believe so. Some of the spaces, instead of just being spaces, are ampersand nbsp, and I will work at changing those later on to tidy that up. I'm going to copy that code. And what I'm going to do next, instead of finding and replace it, I want to set up that tag that in ReReplacer. So I actually need to close this because the menu is not active up there. All right. Also, I have the stream set today to a 2-second delay, or to the low latency, so it's easier for us to chat. If you find that the resolution is not good enough for you to be seeing what's happening here on the screen and you're watching live, then let me know, because I can always stop the stream and start it again with a little higher latency and but better resolution. All right, so I'm going to go to Components here, down to Regular Labs ReReplacer, and I'm going to right-click and open a new tab so I get some tabs happening to switch back and forth here. All right, and I'm going to create a new ReReplacer list. So you see here, let me just show you. I have I've used a lot here for Google, putting in my Google ads. So for instance, I have a spot on some games on my site where I want just a Google ad to appear above the games. And so this is the title, which is Google code for above games. The tag is square bracket Googa above games square, because you want to. Well, the square brackets, so you're really not going to accidentally replace other things in the site. And I just have a little description there. It's for Google code above the games. Same thing with here, GBWL, square brackets on both sides. So I use that for putting Google ads inside of text, and that wraps to the left. And then I have another one down here that wraps to the right. And I'll show you some of these other things here. And a sign up banner, and what's a goober? That's, anyways, here's a bunch of things all throughout my site. Whenever the code for these little to be replaced is found, it replaces with the content. So I'm going to make a new one. And I'm going to, first of all, give it a title over here on the right. I'm going to call it square bracket names Snyder is his last name. So I'm going to go Snide and his signature. So I'm going to call it square bracket Snide Sig, and I'm going to close it with another square bracket. You don't have to have the square brackets. I could probably be safely just replace just SNYDSI in this. And again, this is the description here. But I like putting in the square brackets. They make it easier for my eyes to see what's going on. So replaces James Snyder's signature. All right. At the end of articles. All right, let's take out that capital S there for signature. And now we have a lot of options here for what we can be searching for, because we're going to put what to search for in this box, and then down here we're going to put what to search, what to replace it with. Now these are big boxes and there's not a resizer there. So I'm going to make a little note to Peter van Westen to maybe add that to those boxes, just so there's a little more, they don't take up so much space, a little bit easier to see. Okay, now what I want to do, excuse me, sneeze coming, slowly. Okay, I muted my microphone, so I'll still say excuse me for that. I want to, even though I put this in the title here, and maybe just that's confusing, I'm going to call that James Snyder signature, just not to make things confusing here about what goes where. I'm going to tell ReReplacer anywhere that it sees square bracket SNYDSIG square bracket to replace it with the signature from the article. Now I just copied and pasted something, so it's no longer there. So let me do this. I'm going to open up WordPad++, and which we were talking about after Vinny's recommendation, and Vinny and I are going to be doing a video on his at least 5 of his favorite things, top 5 favorite things to do with Notepad++. And then I'm going to go back to a James Snyder article here, and I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to grab that code again. Okay, copy. Now I'm going to close that, and so here I'm going to say that whenever their SNYDSIG is found, replace it with that code. And this will replace it, excuse me, inside of the code in the article, or anywhere on the site. It could be a module, anywhere on the front end of the site will replace with this. And that was actually, this is a pretty cool tool to do a lot of out of the box things with some extensions. So for instance, there's one extension that I used that was for, I think it was for booking events. It was for someone that was using, I built a site so that they could book school ski trips. And the description for a field was text only, 256 characters. You could not put any HTML in it. So what I did was I put a ReReplacer tag inside that field, and then I added all kinds of HTML and a picture that I wanted right there in the form and a bunch of things, and it worked beautifully. So this is a really powerful tool in order to input things where maybe other extensions don't let you. Basically, okay, so here we've got what's there, what's going to be replaced. And let's see, search areas. Here we can say search in the body or not the head, or everywhere in content or articles. So I'm going to leave this just in the body for now. If you want to search everywhere on your site and on pages being shown, you can select that. And I'm just going to look mouse over enable an admin. If enabled, the replacements will also be done in the administrator. Okay, we don't necessarily want that, because then we won't see the tags where they exist. And then search only will take place between the given HTML code. This only works if both the start and end field are entered. All right, I've never done that. That's something to look into down the road. Lots of options here. Publishing assignments. Oh, and then we can say on which pages or when these replacements will be done. That is pretty cool too. Because basically what you could do here, if we just go back to this view, you could create a replacement for SNYDSIG, and by going to publishing assignments, you could say, but only use this replacement for certain months. Only do that in March. So you could actually have a different signature rotating through different seasons of the year, or dates, or times, or users, or whatever. So that is pretty cool. I haven't seen that before. Anyways, I'm just going to keep this simple for now. Save and close. I'll just save that. In fact, here, first of all, let me just say, here's the code. I'm pasting in Notepad++ just to hang on to it later on. And then here also is the tag, and I'm going to go Control V and put that in there for me to select later. All right, so I'm going to save. Yeah, that's already copied. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to go back to the article. I'm going to open it again, and now we'll see this. Once it opens, things are a little bit slow here because my computer is grinding away whenever it does live streams. When I scroll down to the bottom of this article, here's the signature right there, because I have the code there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out that code, and I'm going to go Control V, and I paste in just that small little tag, that this tag here, SNYDSIG, with square brackets on both sides. Now I'm calling it a tag. I might not be using the right term or the same term that Peter uses, but I'll just call it a tag for now till someone corrects me. And then, all right, so if I save this article, you'll notice I'm using Regular Labs cache cleaner. So once I have saved this article here and it's saving, I can go, the cache will automatically be cleaned. So I know all I have to do is refresh this page and I'll see an updated version. So I hit refresh, and you'll see at the bottom there is the signature still. The signature shows up even though in the actual article itself, the only thing that is there is this tag. Now the beauty of that is this. Once I have this tag in all of the articles where I want, if I want to make a change there, instead of doing the find and replace of all of the code, I only have to go to ReReplacer, look up, open this tag. I don't even have to change this tag. I just change what occurs down here in the page. And I'll show you an example of that in a little while. All right, so I'm going to leave that open. So now all I need to do, actually I need to close that, because I need access to the menu up here again. Now all that I have to do, it's just that I want to check the sound level on things here. Hopefully sound is going okay. I had some problems last week, but it looks like it's good. All right, now components, Regular Labs DB Replacer. I'm going to right click, open in a new tab. And now in the intro text or the full text, I'm going to search for, first of all, I want to replace this tag. We'll do it backwards. I'm going to search for, where's my OneNote? Notepad++. I'm going to search for this code wherever it exists. Right click and copy. And so I'm going to copy that. So now I paste that code in there. Now here's what has changed since last week in ReReplacer. It used to be that whenever you would put text in here, as you typed in the search, it would do a search through the whole database. But I have about 19,000 lines just in the articles table. I think it's 19,000. Might be. Anyways, it's more. It's 15, 16,000. 19,000 is the highest number, but there may be some deleted from some big transfers I did and then deleted a while ago. Anyways, it would search through these tables every time I typed in a character. And so what got changed was that now ReReplacer does not search until you click the search button, which is a vast improvement. Really not a big deal on small databases, but it performs so much better on my big database here. And as I said before, I don't have this site on my faster server yet. So I'm going to click search, and I am going to wait for that to happen. And now we see that that code is found in 173 rows. And that's where his signature appears all of those times. Now the other thing that Peter changed here is, you see there's a little tighter wrapping of the results. Remember, it used to be that this would show the longest line in your code right across, right off the screen. The table contents still do go off across the top of the scene, of the screen, based on whatever your longest line is in there. In fact, as I scroll down here's a long line here, right here. Let's take a look and see. Oh, that's because I've got something really long in the intro. That must be an older article. Anyways, if I scroll back up, we do have the results of the full text, intro text. Oh, actually, there's something else happening over there. I'd have to look at that another time. You see this ... in blue box? If I click on that, it will expand that big huge line, what comes before the search results, right? So as a great way to just wonder if I can collapse that again. I don't see if there's a way to collapse that again. I'm gonna make a little note for Peter on that too. Collapse code again. That might be a neat little thing that he could put in there. Anyways, it really is nice and small based on what you're looking for. There's nothing after these because we're searching at the end of the article. So in other search results, you would also have ... below, and you can expand large lines of text and what's missing there if you need to see that. But in this case, we don't need to see it. So we'll see here in red, this is what's going to be replaced. And then, in green, what it's going to be replaced with. So we're going to replace that signature with the ReReplacer tab. All right, and just checking my other screen there. I'm going to go ahead and replace and say OK. So make sure you remember, make sure you have good backup of your site when you start doing this finding and replacing, in case you accidentally mistype something. Because man, if you ever accidentally replace something like the word "the," you'll replace with "but," you'll replace "there" and "these" and everything with "beter" and "betes." And then if you go and think, oh, I'll just replace "but" with "the" again, you'll end up putting "the" at the beginning of "butter" and everything else. So buttocks, I suppose, if you had that on your site somewhere. Anyways, everything is replaced in those 171 pages. I know there's more than 171 pages, but there's some variations of the signature I've not replaced yet. But what's key is now in those articles, it's depending on SNYDSIG. It's looking for that tag and being replaced. When I right click on this page and view source, I can scroll down and go to his signature, which will be somewhere zoomed down at the end. And you'll see right here, here's the signature that shows up. Now the reason that is showing up is because instead of the tag is because as the page is generated, the tag is replaced with that. So you'll never see where your tag is in there. You'll just see where your tag was replaced in there. Unless, of course, you're using a tag in ReReplacer or some code that doesn't have a match. Maybe the tag might show up. But in that case, I think it would just show up as blank. So I don't think you ever will encode. But what I want to point out here is this. We have paragraph strong, doctor dot, and then ampersand nbsp colon. Remember, where I am replacing now, let me just close this article here. Where I'm replacing now in this James Snyder signature, when we open it up in ReReplacer, right now I've got in there all of those ampersands. Now, if I don't want those in there, then all I need to do is hit a space. And when I change this tag, once I save it, it will be replaced everywhere in the article. All right, so everywhere that tag appears in an article. I'm going to copy this code here. I'm going to do a little tricky thing here. I'm going to just create a new article. I'm going to make a little note, ask about editor, putting the editor in ReReplacer. Probably not necessarily a good idea, but I'm going to take that code, talk to Peter and see what he thinks. Take that code, and now, because I don't want to go through and hunt and peck all this nbsp, I'm going to select it, and I'm using JCE editor. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go paste, and I'm going to replace it with, I hit the spacebar once in replace. And then I go ahead and use this replace all, and then I end up with just spaces. Now that code I will copy and put in ReReplacer. But let's just take a look at Notepad++, because I think that's something that might do as well. I don't need this tag copied anymore. I don't think so. Let's see. Let's look at these things up at the top here. Do we have find and replace? Search, find, next, find. Oh, there we go. Replace. Find what? Replace the ampersand nbsp colon. Replace with, again, I'm going to put my mouse in there and hit the space bar and replace all, and it does the same thing. So what happened here was, as you saw, in ReReplacer, I wanted to do a find and replace, but there's no editor in here, which probably is understandable. Oh, look, F10 to toggle full screen editing. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Look at that full screen for the top there. All right. So I actually went in an article to do the find and replace, but there is an example of using Notepad++ just to take some text and find and replace, which is great. So why don't I just select this line here and close that window, go back to ReReplacer, and now down here I'm going to select all of that and paste it. And there is the signature without any of those ampersand, the characters that make a space. It actually just has a space. It's a lot easier to write. It's faster to load, like probably like a billionth of a microsecond or something like that. And if I save that, I'm going to close this source page. Once that saves, I'm going to go back. No, I have not changed my profile image yet, Vinny. I actually saw that just when I went live. I thought, that doesn't really work. That and I got that pink triangle there. There's a note from an appointment or one of my clients. Let me just go up here and pause push bullet. I don't know if you guys use push bullet or not, but it is really good because it takes text that I get on my phone and puts them on my screen, and I can actually reply to text using push bullet from my computer, and it will go out through my cell phone. All right, so yes, no, I have not changed my image yet. I have to find where that avatar is. I'm actually thinking about growing my beard back as well too, which I see pictures of me when I was on sabbatical a couple of years when I had my beard, and I think, oh, I like that. I might just like how relaxed I was back then. All right, I have saved this ReReplacer item. Yes, yeah, yeah. I saw the pink triangle pop up and wondered, okay, I need to fix that. So having saved that in the article, the cache is cleaned. I'm going to right-click again, view page source, scroll down to the bottom to where that signature is, and here we see we don't have that extra code there. Dr. James L. Snyder. It's all just spaces, and that's great. So now I've got it set up. For instance, so let's say that James calls me and says, oh, his phone number has changed, or his email address has changed, or something in here has changed. I don't have to do find and replace anymore. I can just go to ReReplacer and just edit this signature there. Now, just while we're here, let me show you a few things about what I've got set up with ReReplacer also. In his article here, you'll see, all right, so these are modules. These Google Ads are modules. In this art, and they're greened out because of a tool that I have that just shows me where my things are. But as you scroll down, you'll see here's an article that appeared in the left, that on the left-hand side with text wrapping to the right, and then down here on the right-hand side with text wrapping to the left. When I go into your beard's coming back in the fall, do you do that for warmth out there on the east coast of the States? I'm going to cancel this. Yes. Hey, yo. Nice to see you. Yes, I can change my image under settings profile. I know that I can. I have to actually find the image that I wanted to put there. I thought I saved it somewhere. I'm slowly getting organized. I also did not, in fact, just for people that are watching the replay right now, look at this. I at least have it so that text can go on here when we're discussing later. I did look up how to make it invisible and show up, but I did create, and I haven't done that yet. I'm just going to have to plug away at all these little things. But I do have it so that the chat will go up there later on for us to talk. I've got it that. It is super wide, and I do have this wasted black space down in the bottom corner that, wait a sec, no, wrong hand. Yeah, this black space, I could probably use that for something. But I'll work that out. By the way, how's the resolution on this faster, less latency view that I've got going today? Can you read? Is the text okay, or should I go back to the one that's got like a 10 or 12 second delay? As we switch back. All right, so let's go into this guy's article. Looks good to you? Great, Vinny. As we go back to this article, you'll see that I have oh, I want to see this full view. As we read down through this article, you'll see all of a sudden there's a tag here, square bracket GBWL. I just call that Google something wrap left, and then there's a square bracket. And then down here, I've got GBWR in square brackets. And that is a ReReplacer tag. I don't know if I'm using this right term there, like I said before, that replaces it with my YouTube ads that appear square on this page. Now, the reason that I did that is because it's easy enough to put ads in module positions. But I'm not aware of anywhere that you could put ads in a code in at a certain amount after a certain number of characters. Well, that would be a real cool thing too, eh? Characters in, I'm going to write that down, certain amount of characters in an article. Because wouldn't that be great if you could make a code and assign it to an article so that after the first 250 characters, or maybe the first 50 words, it put in a position right in your content. Because what I have to do is manually add that that ReReplacer code throughout the whole, every time I do an article. Now the nice thing is in all these articles, because of ReReplacer, if I ever want to change what's there, I still have positions for it. I could put in a different ad program, I could put in my own advertising, I could put in whatever I want. I basically have created sort of a mini, not a module position, almost like an article position if there were such a thing. And I can now control what appears on my site everywhere that occurs. Now how that looks up here, let me just go back to here. I want to, I have to take this off screen here just so you don't, I don't want to publish my Google code. So I'm just going to change this here. Blocked. I'm going to Google it. Twitch example, I will call it over here. I'm going to save as a copy. And then I don't want to confuse things on this site, so I'm going to have to change the code that searches for and replaces. And then down here, I just have to take off this personal information here. And do it that way. I'll select that and go hidden. And I even spelled that wrong. And that would be, so I'll save that. Okay, so now I can show this on the screen here. Okay. All right, so I should make it join the rest here. This ReReplacer item looks like this. I renamed the search tag to GBWL Twitch. So basically, this puts a Google ad wrapped by a content body that's 336 pixels by 280, and it's left aligned. And the code I use for that is right here. I've got div style, and then display block, float left, margin, blah, 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 blah. And it looks like you even have a little error. I have 2 quote marks in there. That can't be right. So that's something for me to check out later on the other one. And then I have this my Google script, but then I have the end of the div. And so basically, oh, and I also have a style for the ads, which they're 336 pixels by 280. But up here's the big thing. I create a div with the displays a block and floats left with a margin of 10 points all around it. And so everywhere on the site when it says GBWL normally, it creates a div just like this here, makes a square and puts stuff inside of it. And what I have put inside of it is actually my Google ads. So anytime I want to replace this on a site, I can go and I can, that's not where I'm looking. I can just go in here and I can change what appears in between that div. And that's, I created one so that it floats to the left and one that floats to the right. And so that's a really nice way for me to add a few more things, because you can have only so many ads of this type of ads on your page. Google allows that much. But then down here, you're also allowed text ads or other types of ads to appear on the page as well. So I do those too. And admittedly, I know this is a lot of ads for a page, but really this is just my model for this page right now is is AdSense, and I do about $175, $180 a month just with this site running, with all the pages that I have on it. I probably at some point, when I have something more to offer for myself, maybe do some more of my own advertising on here, because certainly if I could get a job a month out of all of these exposures, I would do better than $170. But anyways, that's what's happening right there. I've done well on this site with AdSense over the years, since '98. Although I only went on AdSense since about, I think it was like 2000. I got on just about 8 months before the bubble burst. But I have done okay on that. All right, so I did point out that I noticed in this code here, I have div style quote and then a crazy funny quote here, which I think I'm going to fix right now, because that cannot be right. But to fix that, I have to do it in the live one that will show the code. So let me just take this off the page and close that. And then go back into the left one. So off screen here, I'm taking out that extra quote mark. And I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to go back here and refresh. Make sure that still works. And once that refreshes, we will see. Yeah, it does work. The ad changed, but that was not consequent. That's inconsequent. It's not related to the change that I made. So then just off screen, I'm going to check for the other GBWR that I have in there, because it probably has the extra quotation mark too. So fortunately, that did not break things. And as I see off screen here, it does. In fact, that's a pretty boring view for us to go to here. So why don't I go to show the chat here just while I'm working on the screen. Then, that saves me changing things over too. I do have one that centers in the content body as well. I gave it an alignment of center, and that one has the extra comma in it. So there's 3 things that I have tidied up and fixed that I didn't even know about. All right, so I could do, I think there are some other James Snyder signatures that I need to replace. Something else that I discovered with ReReplacer, and I'll show you guys and gals now, is remember I searched for something in the code of an article, then I put it in ReReplacer and it would not show up. And one way around that was to search with the regular expression. We looked at that a bunch last week, and I am going to take Peter up on his offer to do a video on the basics of introduction to regular expressions. But I discovered what the problem was, and it was this. Unfortunately, to show you the best way that I know, what was it? I guess what I'll have to do is just tell you, because I can't duplicate it now. In JCE editor, here, let's go to this page, and I need to switch to the screen there. Okay, in JCE editor, what was happening was this. When I viewed the code and selected what I wanted to replace, JCE editor was correcting the HTML. So for instance, I had something like this that was stuck in the database. It was in the article itself, and it looked like this. It had a closing font tag. I believe it was a font tag, but there was no opening font tag for it. And so when I opened the code view in JCE, it actually just corrected and stripped out. It would not show that error that was there. And so when I selected it, and selected text, I was looking for this, but in the database there is actually a closing font tag. And so there was no code in the article, in the database, which was the real code that where it's finding and replacing it looks. It didn't exist in the database, but because it only existed in the database with the extra code on at the end. And because that what was missing was in the middle, no results were ever found in ReReplacer. I had to go into phpMyAdmin and open up the article, the line for the article, and look. And that's when I discovered that there was something that was missing, that was extra in the article, and that I had, that's why the search wasn't working. So if you're ever searching for something that you've copied out of the code in a Joomla article and it doesn't show up in ReReplacer, it may be because the editor, and it happened with the tiny MCE, or the tiny mice as I call it, editor, it was correcting the HTML. So what I was copying was actually not what was in the database. So regular expressions are a way around that. But what Peter also suggested to me was this. Let me just close this. In ReReplacer, so let's take a look for, what will we look for to find in the pages here? Oh, and look, don't forget these clear buttons are now here for the searches as well. Clear hot links that are text there. Let's take a look for, what word will we look for? Let's look for horses. Let's look for horse. I'm just going to search for horse without replacing anything and see what's in there. We will wait, and we find out that the word horse appears in 203 rows on here. Now, notice this is displaying exactly what is in the database. It's not corrected like in JCE. So if you ever run into a circumstance where in the article what you're searching for is not found in the database replacer, then do something like this and go and find just the article inside of your using ReReplacer. Find the code, and then you can select the code right from there. For instance, another way that you can do that too, just to see the code, is if you know, you can filter by the category or by the title. So that's, for instance, I think, let's see, if I'm going to remember right, to do some filtering up here in the where, if I put title equals, title equals, it's got to be title is like, I think. How do I do like in searching for that? Anybody know? Title equals, maybe it's percentage horse, beginning or ending with horse, contains horse. Let's see. Let me give that a try. We'll see if it shows up anywhere. No, database is invalid. Try changing the search. Title like. Okay, thank you. Hey, Peter. Hey, are you watching some of these ideas I've got here? We're going to talk to you about them after. I'll give you a Skype call after, and we can review them if you haven't seen them. Title like equals horse. Okay, so let's go search. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give call. I'll give you a call on Skype and go over them because there's a couple of suggestions and a great idea for a new extension. Better than the other new ideas that I've had for you. Now maybe I have to search for something that has an A in it. Title. Oh, I've got like equals. That's not going to work. Quotes around percentage horses. Okay, thank you very much. I've already shown them the new new search thing here. Okay, there you go. So here are all the articles that have the word horse somewhere in the title. So if you were looking for an article that, again, so we're talking about if there's code in the article that you've selected and you want to search for in ReReplacer, it doesn't show up. If you want to view the raw code, if that's the correct term, that is in the database for your article, in your Joomla database, instead of viewing JCE's corrected view where it corrects your HTML, which is why the search is not being found, just go and find, if you know the title of the article, just go title, like, percentage, and then put the word in that's in there. So, in fact, here's horseback. I could go horseback. If I know horseback is in the title, I can narrow it down even more. And there you go. There's one article with horseback in it. Now I can view the code that is in that. And wow, there's not a lot of code in this example, but at least I can see it and I could select exactly what it is. So let's look. Let's go BR unfortunately. If that's, you know, an example, I could put that in there, take that out and search. And now it will bring up in the results. Well, look at that. It's got BR unfortunately 8 times in 8 rows. But anyways, you get the idea. Now here is the feature that I was showing earlier. And Peter, this is one of the things I'm going to talk to you about. So here it is. It is. I don't know if that's not. I don't know what the term is for. It's not hasn't truncated it. Maybe it is. But basically, these 3 dots represent all the code before these search results. And I think, Peter, you've got something like you're showing, maybe, is it 250 characters or something before the search results and after. But if you want to see what's before or after, you click on the plus, those 3 dots and it opens. My idea, Peter, was just wondering, because I went to close it just to see what was before, is there something that can go in here that would close that again, just like that opens, or not? I just thought that that might be a thing. Anyway, so just to sum up this example, you can search for a title that's got the title, a word in the title field, bring it up, view the raw code, and then you can go and you can select what it is, and then do your find and replace. That way you'll be viewing it directly from the database table and not in the HTML corrected view that takes out some things in JCE. And it also saves you going into PHP or my PHP admin, finding that line, grabbing the article, grabbing the code, and then coming back. You can do it all inside Joomla with this. Yes, it probably isn't that important to close it again. I just, I think earlier, this is a small example, but what I looked at before, these are so small. What I looked at before, when I thought it jumped it quite, it jumped it quite big. I think probably the only time you would click on that is just to make sure you're in the right place. But you're right, it's not necessarily a big, huge thing. Although in this, what it does do though is if you're working down a list like this and it's like, is this what I'm looking for? No. Then you have to scroll more down here. It would almost, so I think in that sense, if you clicked here and it made it small again, that would be good. But I guess with these search results, you don't want to even hide these lines, or else you got to see everything that is that you are replacing things in. So that is So that's tidied up things for me quite a bit. I've got now have that tag in the articles from ReReplacer, and now that signature, I can change it however I want. Oh, there is one other place I need to put that in though, and I'll show you. And also, yeah, I'll let Vinny. I'm gonna let Peter answer that. I see you guys talking there. I have this as well. I'm gonna go components. First of all, I need to make sure that this is updated. So I'm gonna go to Regular Labs Extension Manager. I'm just gonna go over here and make sure that that doesn't show up. Content templater. I have the latest version, which is good. All right. And go back here, components, content templater. I don't know if you guys have ever used content templater before, but basically you can set up a template for your content, which is why it was so wonderfully and adequately named. I just have to rearrange some windows here again. Okay, so again, going back to this God's Penman article, I have it set up that whenever I do a new article, it puts this information in it at the beginning. It puts in the signature, it puts in a basic description, it selects which tags it will be assigned to. I have another tag way down here. Anyways, there are two tags. There's one, I think it's called Penman. Yeah, there's the other one. So there are two tags selected. Publishing, it selects it has who the article author is. Some basic meta keywords. All these options, basically, you can select what you want to be in your articles when you're creating a new one. And there's lots of options up here. I'm not going to look at those today. But so over here, when I go to articles, I can go new. I end up with a blank article. And then I can go content template, the button at the bottom. I select God's Penman. And the next thing you see here, I'll go editor. Here is a blank page ready to set up with exactly what I have going in every article. There's the signature, there's the tags. If I go to publishing, there is, oh, Peter, I've been noticing that on my site, maybe this is not happening on other people's site, but on my site, the user is still not being put in there. But that might be something unique to my database too. I don't know. Anyways, but that hasn't worked for a while. I know I contacted you the other day when everything else stopped working, but this still is not working on my site. But that might be something more unique to me that we can tackle later on. Anyways, what I wanted to show here is that now that I have replaced that signature with a ReReplacer tag everywhere else in the site, in all these other articles, for my new articles, I don't want to start out with this signature. I want to start out with that tag. So all I need to do is I'll cancel this. I go back to Content Templater where we're editing this, and I will go to where that code is. The ReReplacer code. Let's go back here, components, ReReplacer. I don't even need to open it up because I have it in the description, I think. No, I don't. I will go in there. There's the code. So now I tell Content Templater that at the beginning, when I start a new page, I want just that tag there. And I don't want it in bold. I'm going to use this button to strip the formatting off of there. I'm going to go back to publishing here. Content settings, publishing. I've selected James Snyder there. So you've got publishing tab there and also publishing tab there. That threw me off a little bit. Save and close. Now I can go back here, close this, because I didn't make any changes there. And then click on content and articles. I'll make a new article. And then I can go to content template, go to Penman, and there that tag is there, which will be inserted, ready for me to paste. And basically what I do is I take his, I take one of his articles there and put a bunch of, I paste it in there. Then I do my article image, I put in the page break, and then I put in those 2 snippets for showing the ads on the left and on the right, and then I save it. So, all right. I'm going to cancel that. See a lot of chat happening here. Let me catch up on this here. And that's a good time for me to change over so we can capture that on the screen. All right, regular labs. How does ReReplacer work? It doesn't change the actual database when it replaces, right? If you have a lot of things to change, will it cause server load problems? It's hard to figure out where to place the button to close it again. Oh, okay, because you... Okay, and that's regular labs responding to where to put the button to close again, because you do want to be able to click and select in that initial hidden content. All right. Yeah, ReReplacer replaces live on page load. It shouldn't noticeably affect page load time if you don't go crazy with it. I assume Snippets performs the same way. Would setting up things using Snippets be better than trying to go back and fix things using ReReplacer? That's a good question. Let's take a look at Snippets. Components. And I don't have Snippets installed. So I want to go to Regular Labs Extension Manager here. Down to Snippets and install it. So easy. Snippets is ReReplacer's stupid little sister. Okay, components, Snippets. I think I have to refresh that. Components and regular labs Snippets. So the difference here would be what? I've not used Snippets before. Give the snippet an idea. Okay. All right. So yeah, I can see it. So basically, you're putting in what you want. Now, oh, nice, because the editor's there. Peter, that's another thing I made a note about. Is there in ReReplacer? Is it a good thing, a bad thing, or should there be an? Would it be helpful to have an option for the editor to appear in the? Let's just go here. ReReplacer. When you're editing a tag, would it be helpful to have, would it throw things off to have the editor available in replace? Because I know that in this case, I just replace this with this code. I don't need the editor to show up. And in fact, you are only replacing code. So maybe having the editor would throw things off. Anyways, that was another question, a little note that I made there to ask you about. Going back to Snippets, we do have the editor, so that's just handling HTML or whatever you put in there. Remove paragraph tags. Select to remove paragraph tags inside the snippet. Almost, I guess, would there be something? Would there be an option over here in ReReplacer where the editor was, but you had an option to replace only the HTML and just not the contents of the WYSIWYG editor? That might be something too. All right, let me catch up reading here. Mainly use it for large static rich content. Large static rich content. So content there's a lot of that doesn't change. And rich, so it's got HTML, it's got coding in it. Snippets works with the WYSIWYG editor. ReReplacer replaces on the HTML level, so would complicate things to not replace based on visible HTML, especially if you do dynamic stuff. Okay, so yeah, I'm sort of talking away here doing that. Yeah, so that's why you would want to make the HTML somewhere else and pop it in there. So no option to ReReplacer to use WYSIWYG. Okay, that makes sense to me. Oh, you know what? Here, just while we're on this window here, that was another thing that I was going to talk to you about. Is this search and this replace box might be handy to have resizers, because these don't resize right now. So like over here in the description and that, so that would probably just be something that'd be good to have in there, because it would bump that up, and it would let people see the dynamic tags that much more easily down at the bottom. So that was something that I noticed while we're using things. So collapse code again, I got that. Edit and ReReplacer. And the here, let's talk about this. Do you want my idea here live, or you want me to talk to you, Peter, on Skype afterwards? We can still talk afterwards, but if your HTML in the replace field of ReReplacer gets too large, then you probably rethink what you're doing. I see what you're saying, yeah. Yeah, so I've got a couple lines there for the signature, but yeah, I can see that. You don't want to, if you're making it big, then yeah, there's probably a better way to do that. Okay, I'll give you a call afterwards. It's already on. I already mentioned it before, so good. All right. Well, I think that's all the work that I had lined up, just that I thought I could show today. Of course, I have other work to do. I mean, I can always, for instance, every now and then I just do stuff like this. Just for general maintenance, because some of these pages that I have on my site are from 1998, and that's before I was using. That might even be before Mambo, for all I know, but it's before I was using Mambo, and before that forked into Joomla. But I had this big Dreamweaver site with lots of tables, and I converted thousands of pages and from HTML into Joomla articles using an extension. But there's a lot of sloppy HTML on that site, and on my site, and then here comes. All right, another sneeze. And so periodically, I can go into ReReplacer, and I can find examples of stuff that needs to be fixed. So for instance, let's search for Montserrat. If I search just for Montser, there'll be places where the font, no, that's, oh, look at that. I misspelled monster in rat there. How about that? It's in the intro text. Monster rat. It looks like it's well, it looks like it has to do with an image. No, it's a title. So basically what I do is I go and I find things that that do not work well, and I find and replace them. I thought Montserrat would be a font that came up, but let's see. Let's look for HELV. This search button is so great on the ReReplacer now. Okay, here we go. Over here are articles where I'm specifying. It's got font family, Times New Roman, MSO ANSI language. There we go. There's a good one to search for, because here we got Helvetica. I knew it was somewhere with fonts. So if I search for MSO ANSI language, that's where Word is being pasted somehow into one of my old pages or on the site. And as I search for it, then I know all of these pages have this horrible, ugly font thing that I don't want on the page. It's not consistent. It's not being affected by the template. So what I can do is I could then, using this example of the actual HTML right inside, I can go through and I can either find and replace all of these things, or I can do one of those regular expressions which looks for anything that starts with a paragraph and then has MSO ANSI language and then ends with a code or something like that. I can replace it with simple, just leave the paragraph out, or replace it with something else that I want, because maybe I want small things. Anyways, this is such a great way, such a great tool to find junk in the database trunk, and then go through and just tidy up things. And oh shoot, can you see my screen? Yes. Thanks for pointing that out. Full screen with Tim at the bottom. All right, let me just catch up with the reading here. Replace on HTML level to not in your. Yeah, so here's what I did was I searched for, I'll just repeat that. I searched for HELV for Helvetica. And anywhere that Helvetica is stated inside my site is somewhere, it's usually with a font. And here we go, font family Times New Roman, MSO ANSI language. So that's what I did here. I grabbed that. Now I can go up here and go paste. No, I don't hit enter for that. I go search. And then it brings up all of these articles that are junky. They've got this junky text in there. Like, look at this one. For instance, this article is My Dog Has Fresh Water. That's a devotional that I wrote. If I go into the article here, content articles, this is probably something I wrote in Microsoft Word. I'll tell you, my dog's been dead like for 10 years, so this is an old article. I'm still filtering by category there. I'll take that out. It's looking. My Dog Has Fresh Water. Yeah, 2003. So when I go into here, this is an old thing that I've pasted from Word, and it just does not really look very good. And I've got extra paragraph marks in there. So and look at that, I've got nice normal font up here, and I've also got the intro text and before. This is a really old article. So this is an example of where I could look for a pattern. See, it all works out fine in intro text, but I could look for a pattern and I could start to remove all the fonts that have this lines span style MSO ANSI language. Anyway, so it's really great for finding stuff like that. Even if there's a one-off or just going back and looking for issues. On an old site, on a new site, you're not going to have stuff like this unless you have users that are pasting things with Microsoft Word, which sometimes, you have clients that are doing that and that throws off the template. Anyway, so I could just kind of work away and clean up some of that stuff as well. I mean, even if I don't use a regular expression, if I just take this out, select that for an example. Now I know I'm using the full code here, not in JCE editor. I could search, and let's see. How many articles are like that? Oh, I grabbed a span there that maybe I should look for the opening span. See what the search happens here. Oh yeah, let's scroll back here. Oh yeah, because there's maybe there's no closing span. Now here's a case where I'm going to have to look All right, it was actually only in 2 that I selected. Anyways, I could sit down and slowly try to crank out a regular expression that's going to catch more and more. Yeah, there's, oh, look at that. There's the opening span, closing span. Just messy HTML. Anyways, that's an example of looking and trying to fix things. Yeah. All right. Well, don't want to get this to be too boring and monotonous doing all that stuff. All right. Well, that's so using nbsp to replace text with a ReReplacer tag, if that's actually what those are called, and then going in and how to edit the tag. And some other bonus stuff too. And a quick look at snippets, which is cool. All right. So I guess snippets would be a good way with the HTML editor, good way to replace maybe a header or a picture or something like that. But like you said, if it gets too big, okay, then you should do some things differently. Okie dokie. What else we got happening? Anything else we should talk about related to this or not? If not, anybody out there watching Better Call Saul? Snippets is nice for large pieces of text you want in multiple places, like a footer, like I just did. Okay. It would be easy to change. Snippets is nice for large pieces of text you want in multiple places. So, Peter, would you say that it's better to use snippets for doing the footer of this article than using ReReplacer? You would use snippets for this, you think? Okay. Well, then let's do that. I can do this should be able to do this fairly quick. So I'm going to close this dog of a, well, here, let me just fix this page while it's open because it's, I think I can, all I need to do is select all of this. There's a signature. Oh, Tim, that's an old signature. There you go. I used the eraser to remove the font, the formatting on that. And I'll take out these extra. Oh, nice. Multiple authors. You could have a signature for both. Oh, right. Screen. Thank you for reminding me. I've got so many screens that I can pick from here. That one here. All right. Yeah, so let me do here. I'll undo a few things there. This is what I did. I selected the text. I can select it all. And then on JCE Editor, there's the Remove Formatting button. And that stripped out all that crazy stuff in the back end, which leaves me with extra paragraphs that I can backspace out. This is an interesting, very old signature from 2004. And I have no picture on this page either, so I could probably put a picture of my dog in there. Do I have it in images and links? No. In fact, okay. In fact, I'd like to get rid of that. Well, look at this. This is that each night before I go to bed, there's the intro, and then it repeats here. So I'm actually going to fix this too. Take that out. And then, where did I put that break though? Each night you go, oh, it becomes, because this is it used to be Joomla, I would, in order to not have the blank line from the read more, I would do this before and after text. Take that out. Each night before I go to bed, I will put the line break there, and I'm going to put an image in. I think that I can quickly find a picture of my dog by searching for Maggie. See if that shows up. I went into the quotes. There we go. Maggie. No. I'll find a picture for that later on. All right, so the advantage of snippets is also that it comes with an editor button, so the author can select the snippet from the editor button pop-up. Oh, okay. So if you have a person who writes articles on your website, then you add their own snippet, and that way you can maintain all the signatures so they are uniform. Most of the time with guest authors is that they don't have enough CSS or any knowledge to make things look nice. Yeah, that's how to use snippets. Regular apps. I use it on my site, for instance, for the whole assignment stuff in the documentation of Advanced Module Manager, because the whole table is the same for all. Oh, okay. Yep. Cool. Okay, so if I'm just trying to understand the philosophy of it, then, so you've got ReReplacer for little bits here and there, like I have with that ad. But if you're using a big block of something that you want to change across the site, like those tables, then use the editor, and that's more user-friendly for the other people who might not be as tech-savvy, doing the formatting and everything like that. Okay. Snippet assignments. Cool. All right. Alrighty, that's cool. That makes sense. So that'd be great for. Okay. Excellent. So let's go to. I don't need that art. Well, I can test that there. DB replacer I'm going to be using here. I'm going to go components and snippets. And I also need to open up components and ReReplacer. Open that in a new tab. You use your own extensions. Yes, it's so seamless you couldn't see them. All right, so let's put this in a logical order of tabs going across. I don't need articles open right now. So we've got ReReplacer, snippets, and DB replacer, and then that tab to change. All right. I don't know why my nose is running today, although I can tell you that our sky is blue right now with smoke from forest fires on Vancouver Island and in British Columbia. And actually a couple of weeks ago we had a lot of smoke in the air, and it was coming from forest fires in Russia across the Pacific. So I don't know if the smoke is bothering me a bit today or what. But all right, so on ReReplacer, to the James Snyder signature, I have this signature here. Copy that, and I'm going to go Control A. Yes. So that's the ReReplacer one. And basically, I want to create a snippet with this code here. And I'll go in here. So I'm going to create new. And then I'm going to paste that code in the HTML. Does anyone know, hey, by the way, does anyone know why when you open up a new article with JCE editor anyways, or a new thing, it's not necessarily a new article because we're in snippets, but I get, oh, I don't now, but if I go to code, oh, see, oh yeah, I get a space. I get a space at the beginning. which sometimes shows up on the front. I know that's happened in articles, so it's something I've meant to look into. All right, so I put in that code there. Here's the signature that I want to have at the end of James Snyder's thing. So I'm going to give this title, James Snyder signature. The snippet ID, what's the format? Give the snippet ID. This issue, okay, so James, so I call this SNYD SIG. All right, and for the end of James Snyder's articles. Great. Snyder's articles, plural. I'll call this footer at the end of James Snyder's articles. Okay, I don't have any category here. If I go create new category, okay, I can create a category for that. Author footers. All right. Do I want to remove paragraph tags? No. What's the default? I haven't set up any defaults yet, so I'm just going to say no, just in case the default is yes. James Snide Sig. All right, so then basically I'm going to save that. All right, now I want to go into ReReplacer. I want to find everything that has square tag Snide Sig, and I want to replace it with Snide Sig, only it's the snippet. And I take out that square. So I search. It's going to be like 171 or whatever, 174. Excellent. I replace. Nope. All caps, nope. Rhymes with dope. All right, what did I do wrong? Oh, with snippet. Oh, I got the wrong. Okay. I got the wrong thing there. There we go. In the snippet tag. Okay. Snippet. And then the word. Okay, so what I need to do now is replace this. Is to search for that. Good thing, well, I'll say I don't really need to have a backup because this is easy to fix, but that's how easily Peter giving powerful tools to dumb guys can happen. And so now I want to type snippet, SNIPPET, space, SNYDSIG. All right. So now I search for that. Hey, still found 174 rows. Hey, oh, there's a neat button. Toggle inactive columns. Oh my goodness. Is that new, or if I just never really noticed that before? That is... Oh my goodness. That's so nice. I wish I'd seen that sooner. Okay, replace. Yeah, it's been there a while. I was afraid of that. Monkeys with laser guns. Or if you watch SNL, laser cats. All right, so I'm going to replace that and say okay and okay. Hey, Peter, is there ever a case where you want once we do a replace, we actually want the cache to be cleaned on the site as well, automatically with Cache Cleaner? Just wondering. Hallelujah, it's a scam. I hit replace and everything working well. There's the signature. And I've done it. Not only have I done it my way, but now I've done it the right way, according to Peter. You know, funny thing about my dad when I was growing up was, and this is actually one of, I love my dad, and so I'm not saying anything bad about him here. Boy, my dad, his dad died when he was 9, and And I know that was tough for him, and I know as a dad now too. I mean, a grandfather, that I haven't always. I wasn't as great a dad as I hoped that I would be or thought I would be. So growing up, my dad would say I'd do something. He'd say, "Well, there you go." He says, "There's 3 ways to do everything: the right way, the wrong way, and Tim's way." So, so I realized that was sort of an issue from my childhood one day because I was a dad. I had kids. We were going somewhere in the van, and we were putting one of those cargo carriers up on top of the van, and I was tying it down. I was figuring out how to do it or tying something down, and I heard in my head, I was thinking, how do I do this? And I thought, there's a right way, there's a wrong way, and there's a Tim way. And I thought, oh boy. So for the longest time, I interpreted that as a kid, and the stuff, the lies that we believe as kids continue on for a long time in our lives till we have the courage to hear them, or it's okay. We can love the people that said them to us, but we realize they weren't really good, or else we can realize that we misunderstood and we applied it in a negative way to ourselves. Anyway, so I had to figure out along the way, oh, okay, yeah, I can figure out how to do things. It's not that I'm able to do things other than, I can find the right way to do something. I'm not necessarily impeded by that. So that's, anyway, so that's just, I chuckled when I said that. Yes, I can do that with one click on Cache Cleaner. Yeah, I know, but I'm lazy. There you go. I am lazy. I like stuff that just works automatically. Oh my goodness. I think that's why I gravitate towards computer and web stuff, and that I just like it so that, although, my favorite, one of my favorite things about Cache Cleaner is because, the one-click button is awesome, but that is automatic. When I build sites for clients and they're working on them, it just wipes out the need of them saying, oh, I made changes, but it's not showing up. I mean, it just forces it to happen. And it's nice because I think it's nice for our clients too, because you're building a site that they don't have to worry about all the intricacies. I mean, you can show them in a tutorial for them, click this button, or you can tell them to click on that button if it's an extension or something that doesn't automatically, and that Cache Cleaner doesn't just take off. But it's just so great because it just makes things work better for people that really just want to have a site that they're working on the contents. They don't want to be so overwhelmed by stuff and for it to just work. So that's great. You're happy that cache wasn't cleared before you fixed it. Well, that's true. I almost put on the Twitch thing. Basic Joomla has gone live. Please watch, even if only out of morbid curiosity. Or in the description of what I was doing, and probably breaking something. Although I didn't break something, although for a few seconds those pages were showing up like that. So, okie dokie. Well, there. I feel so much lighter just having fixed that stuff on my site, and also doing the snippets and learning there. So appreciate the online live tutorial that's happening there, Peter. Peter, they were talking about on Facebook yesterday in the Facebook group about, yes, it is working on the front end. I can change that. Bring up my windows. This is why we need 3 screens. We, as in me. Which program am I looking for here? Because I gotta get back to here. Full screen with display transition. Yeah, here it is right here. So I created that snippet, did that whole find and replace thing. Replaced. Yeah, 3 screens is nice, and actually I've got, there's a company here in Canada that has stand-up desks that go up and down, and also really, really inexpensive, like for $40-something Canadian, stands to attach them, or any desk that holds 3 screens. So I definitely am hoping to do that, and and get that happening at some point. But yeah, a third screen would be cool. I could do a third screen on another computer, I suppose, and just look over. But yeah, to have a third one up on the main computer would be good. Anyway, so yeah, so it is working. There is the signature there, working all nice. And yeah, I like that. Oh, you have a stand that holds 3 screens. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, it's definitely there. Hey, you know the other thing as far as deskware, let me just see if I can find it here. This is not the exact one that I was sitting in. Let me just see if I can find, because orange is my favorite color. Here it is here, I think. This chair here. So we have a store chain here in British Columbia called London Drugs. Now, for those of you that have ever been to Canada or are in Canada, one of the most popular drugstore chains, oh, I opened in the wrong thing here. One of the most popular drugstore chains is called Shoppers Drugs. And so when I lived in Ontario, Shoppers Drugs, you went there and you got your prescriptions, and they had, you know, potato chips and stuff like that. They had some makeup, and you buy your deodorant and all kinds of stuff like that. It's just a drugstore. So I move out here and I see London Drugs, and they've got a sign at computers as well. And I thought, oh my goodness, who's going to buy a computer from a drugstore? Anyways, they have a really, really good computer store section in their stores, and they're pricey. But I was there and I sat in this chair, and oh my gosh, it was comfortable. Oh. 274, orange in my favorite color. I mean, if you like green, there's green. But I'm telling you, I sat in that chair and it was, oh my goodness, it was so good. So my dream office, I probably have 4 things. One is the stand-up desk because I need to do more standing. One is, let me just move back here so I can be keeping track of the chat thing that's happening. Yeah, no, not black is the new orange. One is the stand-up desk. One is the third monitor. The second one's third monitor. One is this chair, because it was so great for sitting in it. And the fourth is just to shift things around so I have a little bit more of a studio look. I don't, I've always gone with here I am with the green screen downstairs where, this is the computer my wife works on. So it's sort of like just sit down here. But I've been thinking maybe of doing just tweaking it just a little bit so that it's not quite as, because you can't see my desk on this side. I moved all the junk from here so it at least looks tidy into there. So I don't know, I might do something more of a studio. Just a sec, let me make you a moderator and then you can send the link. Let's see. It's not fitting down there. I will permit user. Is that what I want to do? Try it now. Oh, I've made something as add friend whisper. No. Stream markers chat. No. Oh, I've gone and made chat disappear. I've wrecked it. Users. I clicked permit on you, but I must. No. I am a noob. There you go. I made your mod so that you can paste your link. LUL? Wait, I missed this. Oops, can't see any link. Did I type LUL? Or did I say it? Well, I just said L. Well, I don't know. I did not type LUL. I did not mean to, especially if that's the word. Know your memes. Oh, am I missing something that... Oh, I got to go back up here. I missed something here. You like what you just did. Is that working in front of you? Yeah, we used 3 screens. I have stand hold. The black is new orange. Gallon cross. Oh, okay. So, okay, I got you. Hio posted the LUL. Oh, it was so good. Too much info. Oops, can't send you a link. LUL is a Canadian version. No, LUL, that is something that Hio shared. Laughing out loud. Oh, I get you. No. You know, on the American shows that make fun of Canadians, they often will say, "Ooh, from Canada, eh? What's happening about you?" And I think that for me that sounds more like a Minnesota accent than a Canadian accent. There might be some people in Manitoba or in central Canada which are close to Minnesota where they might say a boot, but I never hear Canadians say anything like a boot. It's always been sort of that Minnesotan accent. So I don't know any Canadians that say a boot, but it is just fun to make fun of Canadians, because making fun of Canadians is like making fun of something that's not going to do anything to you. Okay, know your memes, LUL. I'm going to click on that link. It opened up over here. Part of a Twitch. Okay. There we go, LUL. Part of a series on Twitch emotes. Press I to view image gallery. LUL is a Twitch emote that featuring a picture of video game reviewer John Bain, better known as online handle Total Biscuit. The emote is typically used to indicate laughter in a similar vein to typing abbreviation LOL. All right. Yes, there's the whole thing that Hio has introduced me to on the chat emoticons and Giphies. All right, and there's... Oh, that's... Oh, cool. Okay, that's the screen you've got. Yeah, 7750. That's .com. Ships to... So that's that. Let me go... It's got a good base on it, too. It must anchor underneath, too, right? Does it have an anchor that screws in underneath? It must. That'd be so much weight. Oh yeah, that's got to be the anchor right there. I clicked on it, and it's not letting me mouse over it. The one that I was looking at is Prime Cables. And also monitor mount. I'm just going to search for this off screen here because... Oh, there's one for 6. Oh my goodness. 6 for... No, these prices are a lot more than what I saw them for. Okay, yeah, these are... Oh, this is the one I was looking at. Right here. For a triple monitor, triple mount. But they've got... Okay, that's not the one that I was looking for, but that's for mounting 3 up top. That's not what I was wanting to do. The one that I looked at, I was pretty sure No, that's not it. There you go. Triple screen desktop mount for 10-inch to 30-inch, 25-inch width, so that's cool. And it's $49.99. Market price is $139, so I don't know why it's so low. But there we go. That's the setting that I'd like to have up for 3 monitors. It adjusts. These guys here rotate a little bit to give it a little bit of turn. And yeah, so like $50. Now looking at that base, it looks pretty sturdy. It's a clamp on, and it looks like there's some holes in the back of it there for screwing directly into a desk. So I'd have to check it out a little bit more. It doesn't look super strong for the weight that you have up there, but anyways, that's yeah, so that's for me. Look at that, $77.50. And now it's shipping and import fees to Canada. If I go up to Amazon.ca, change that from .com, sometimes that will go to the same product. Yeah, it's $194 Canadian for me, free shipping. So that's pricey. Pricey for me in Connect dollars. Let's look at that beautiful orange chair again. And let's also go back and find the chat that I'm reading. Okay. ReReplacer uses Joomla. So, oh, you sent me an image of a screen setup in Facebook. All right, let me just go on to Facebook. And let me find that. Did you send that as a message, Vinny? I don't see it as a message. Oh, there we go. Sent me a photo. Oh, hey, look at that. Me on there too, right? Let's open that up and move that over here. That's, oh man, you got, is that an orange wall? Is that an orange wall? Because if that's an orange wall, who's not friends? All right, I'm falling behind the chat here. ReReplacer uses, oh boy, Hio keeps typing it. Amazon, okay, Hio keeps typing it. Hio keeps using it. LUL. Okay, I got you. Check it out, Tim. Did you see this link you sent me? There's something wrong with BTTV. But the base is very heavy. Okay, the base is heavy. I never need to anchor it. Sent you an image. Okay, ReReplacer uses Joomla core code. Okay, first of all, that's a nice setup. You know what? I never really considered going 2 with 1 above. But that is, oh, I don't know. I have to check my neck. I should sit here for an hour and see if that works. Because I got bad neck from a racing accident out at the speedway. Or racing accidents. But that, I like that. That looks good. And there I am on there. Yeah. I don't know if that, I guess if I was far enough back. Maybe I need a 4th monitor. There's a big 51-inch TV on the wall way back there. Yeah, I like that setup. ReReplacer uses Joomla Core Code Mirror Editor for the search replace fields. This does not come with an option to be resizable. Oh, okay. There are some scripts out there that can add a resize handle, but X means extra JavaScript files and extra stuff to keep up to. Okay, so that's referring back to can you resize those? Okay, I gotcha. Resize the windows in ReReplacer. I have a DX Racer. The quality is pretty good, but nothing comes to real office chair for, yeah, 1,000. Yeah, that would be a lot. Tax write-off. We're not friends. Excuse me. Did not get to the, I'm sure we're friends. We must be friends on here, Vinny. If you guys want to friend me on Facebook, please do. It will be let me just find that there. I'll give you the link here. I will paste that into my... There you go. If you want to friend me on Facebook, there's the link to find me. I thought for sure that we were... Yeah, we're friends on there. I'm following you. Yesterday was your anniversary. Unless I got the wrong person saying we're not friends. No, I'm sure we're friends on Facebook. Oh, look at that. I got a friend request from you. How am I following you but we're not friends? It even shows on my screen that we're friends. I mean, I'll accept it, but I was sure that we had done that. Because I'm following you and I see, yeah, what are those things? The affair. Anyways, so that probably will work right there now. Okay, it says we're connected on Messenger now, so something goofy was happening there. All right. Mackenzie Gian. Am I the only one in this chat who hates... I'm not sure what you are referring to. Following, yeah, but it showed me that we were friends. But anyways, we're friends now. We sorted it out. All right, so switching back to a different screen here to show chat. That's that one down here. Cool. Anyway, so yeah, I would love to get that desk chair. I made $279 for a desk chair. Is a lot of money, but I sat in it and it was nice. Okay, well, what time have we got here? It is 10 to 1 my time. It is time for lunch. 10 to 1, let's see. That's getting close to 10 to 1. If we add 7 to 1, 13, that's 8. That's getting late there in Europe. Yeah, I do spend a lot of time in the chair. And I'll tell you, yeah, like I said, sitting in it, it was really, really nice. All right, everybody. Well, if there's not anything else, then I think that I'll wrap it up at this point. But that's going to be great. I'll be putting this. Yeah, I agree. It is worth the investment, and it is a write-off for business as well. And same thing with the stand-up desk. I really want to get something happening in that, so it's a little bit easier. I mean, it's $45 for me to go to the chiropractor, so if I can cut down on that. Although I like my chiropractor, and I do like my neck after it's been cracked. So, well, everybody, I think I'm going to wrap it up at that and go grab some lunch. I'm going to call Peter first on Skype to see what's, give my idea. And then, then 2 o'clock this afternoon, I'm going to my friend's house to watch Better Call Saul, which I like. That's the prequel for Breaking Bad. I think Breaking Bad was the best television I've ever watched in my life. And I've watched a lot of television in my life. Both parents working, coming home after school. Watched tons of TV. Anyway, so thanks everybody for your support of this channel here on Twitch. The recording of this will be live on the YouTube. Let me just find my screen here so I'm not looking at you here. Okay. And put on my, change my glass here. The recording of this is going to be on the YouTube channel. I have to wait 24 hours, I think I read, on the terms of service for Twitch to not rebroadcast right away on YouTube. And so that gives me time to crunch this and do a little bit of editing and get that up there. And just continue to press on with things. So thanks everybody for tuning in and watching me work today. Yes, remember to use snippets. Replace your stupid little sister. Maybe I'll put that as clickbait in on something. I'll say Peter van Westen dropped into the live stream and was talking about someone's stupid little sister. Maybe that'll get people connected. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for your support of this channel, of Basic Joomla, of the stuff that we're doing online. And thanks for teaching me the stuff that you guys taught me today and your suggestions and ideas. And we'll just keep building on those and moving along with them. So, as usual, until I see you next, enjoy your Joomla sites and God bless.